So we've been talking about transformations and the rigid transformations where the shapes do not change size or shape. And so we started with translations. That was where we shifted something left, right, up, or down. Then we did reflections, reflecting it over a line. And now we're going to do the third one and last one, which is rotations. In a rotation, all the points in the figure will rotate, or turn, the same number of degrees about a fixed center point, and we're going to rotate either clockwise or counterclockwise. So let's look at an example. And all the problems we're going to do rotations about the origin. So you could think of, for this example, we're just going to do point A. We're going to do a single point instead of a whole picture. But if I want to rotate this point 90 degrees clockwise about the origin, think if we connected A to the origin with a string. And then I want to rotate clockwise, and so this is important to know. By the way, here's a clock. Terrible picture. But as the hands on the clock move, they move in this direction throughout the day. So that's clockwise. Counterclockwise would be going this way. All right, so, but the directions on this one said that we're going to go clockwise. So we know that A is going to be going this way. Okay? Now, 90 degrees, we know what 90-degree angle is. So if I make a little 90-degree angle here, and then I extend it out, there is going to be A prime. Now that segment, that string doesn't change length, so it's still the same length. So this is how I like to, let's go with red. Let's make a little arrow. All right. So I think about where is A at? From the origin, it was 1, 2, 3 units there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 units over, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it was over 4 and up 7. So the new point is going to be actually over 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then up 4, 3, 4. So those two numbers are important, but I don't want you to think of them in terms of like the transformations. So maybe if I do this in a yellow. So from the origin, we know that it was 4 and then 7. And so then this way, we're just going to switch those numbers and go 7 and 4. And that's how we get to A prime. And that'll make a 90-degree angle between them. We'll do some examples in a minute. All right, let's say we take a figure. We want to rotate the square 90 degrees counterclockwise about the center point. So let's start with this first one. We want to rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. Now counterclockwise is this way. And so that means that we're going to spin this 1/4 of a turn like that. So that would be clockwise. And so we're going to wind up with this picture. Let's try another one. And by the way, it's a good idea. Hit pause, try and draw your picture, and then see how you did. Rotate the square 180 degrees clockwise about the center point. Okay, go ahead, hit pause and draw your picture, and then hit play. All right, so first of all, clockwise means it's rotating this way, and 180 degrees would be 1/4 and another quarter, so halfway around. Although it turns out that for 180 degrees, if I go counterclockwise, 2/4 of a turn, that winds up being exactly the same as if I go clockwise. So clockwise and counterclockwise, that doesn't matter, and we actually don't even need to say that for 180 degrees. And so that's what your answer should look like. All right, let's try another one. Rotate the square 180 degrees counterclockwise about the center point. Well, I just explained that. It's going to be exactly the same answer as before. Because clockwise and counterclockwise don't matter. All right, how about rotating the square 90 degrees clockwise about the center point? So 90 degrees clockwise, that's this way, 1/4 of a turn. And that's where it winds up. Okay, let's try one more. Rotate the square 270 degrees counterclockwise. 270, so wait a minute. 90 plus another 90 is 180, plus another 90 is 270. And then plus another 90 would be 360, which means you're right back where you started from. So we want to do 1, 2, 3/4 turns counterclockwise, which is that direction. All right, so there's 1/4, that's 90 degrees. There's another quarter turn, that's 180. And then a third quarter turn, 270. There's your answer. Now you may have realized, well, wait a minute. Going 270 counterclockwise is just the same as going 90 clockwise. And that's entirely correct. Okay, so for the assignment, I'd like you to do the rotations packet, pages 1, 2, and 4. And I actually want to go through an example on each just to make sure you understand it. So we want to rotate this point, the first one here, 90 degrees clockwise. So clockwise is this way. So I know that this point A is going to wind up down here somewhere. So let me count. To get from the origin, I had to go 1 over and then 3 up. So to get to the new point, I'm going to switch that, and I'm going to go 3 in the x direction and then go 1 down. And that's going to be my new point. And then I don't need this other stuff here. So I'm just going to say there, my final answer, and then label it as A prime. And so that's how you do those. In the next worksheet 2, now you have to rotate the image. Same idea. If you just do one point at a time, so 90 degrees clockwise. So let's say I start with point B. Well, B is 1 over and 4 up. And so I know that 90 degrees clockwise is going to take it down into this quadrant. So then, instead of 1 over and 4 up, now I'm going to go 4 over and 1 down. And there's my new point, and that's B prime. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with point A. Point A, it's going to, 90 degrees clockwise means it's going to wind up over in this section. So I know that's where I have to move my point to. So to get to A from the origin, I had to go 4 this way and then 2 that way. So now I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go 2 and then 4. I know it has to wind up in this section, so that's why I knew it wasn't to go like 2 this way and 4 this way. So it always helps, first of all, to figure out, arrow. It helps to figure out where you're going to. So this is A prime. And then I'm going to connect that to B prime. And then finally we'll do point C. And 90 degrees clockwise means it's going to move up into this section. And so that was 1, this 1, and then 2. So I'm going to go 2 and then 1. And that's my new point right there. And so that's C prime. And I'll connect that to A prime and to B prime. And then I'll get rid of all this extra stuff here. And so that's what happens when you rotate triangle ABC 90 degrees clockwise. So just do one point at a time and then connect them. And then in the last one, you have to write the rule. So it's either going to be 90 or 180, and it's clockwise or counterclockwise. So you just have to decide what's the original picture. Well, the original doesn't have the little tick marks, the little primes. So D, E, and F is my original. So let's just pick one of the points. Let's say point E. And where did E wind up? It started here, and it wound up over there. So it moved one quadrant over, and that's the counterclockwise direction. So all you have to write is 90 degrees counterclockwise. And that's it. So you just have to decide, pick one point and decide how many sections, how many quadrants is it rotating. One quadrant is 90 degrees, two quadrants is 180 degrees. And then is it clockwise or counterclockwise? Okay.